What's up, everyone, and welcome to episode 21 of Couples Coverage. I'm your host, Nicholas Moriano. I'm joined by my beautiful and amazing co-host, Stephanie Abonce. What's going on, babe?
Good. We're recording during the day, so this video might look a little bit brighter.
It's going to look a little different because we usually record at nights.
Well, no, not nights, but because it's been winter, it gets dark so early, so we usually do it during the week. This time it's on the weekend.
And you know what? That's one of maybe the negatives. And we'll get into some of the positive and negatives of winter and kind of what this whole theme of this show is about. Staying in versus going out, especially in wintertime because you're kind of forced to do that. But we're going to get into all that in just a little bit. But before we do, please subscribe to, the Couples Coverage Podcast, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, everywhere where you listen to your podcasts. You're going to find us there. But also, if you like watching the podcast, like a lot of people do, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Also, give us a follow on Instagram, TikTok, things like that. We're still building up our channel here. And, yeah, we'd really appreciate it. And after you subscribe and follow and share, our podcast here, just send it to a friend. Just send the link over, and that will definitely help us out in the long run.
Leave us a comment.
Yeah, the comments are always great. We love interacting with people, regardless of what the topic is. If you agree with our takes or not, we do enjoy it. So, yeah. 21.
We're going to get into it. So, I feel like our last ones have been very holiday themed because that's kind of where we were. Now we're in January, mid-January, and winter officially came.
It hit, and it hit hard, I feel like. Just with how cold it's been. I think when I last checked, it's, in Arlington Heights right now. I want to say it was -6. Oh, no, it's -1. Okay, -1
It's -1, and then it's what does it feel like?
So it's -4, -13 degree feels like -25. Okay.
Oh my
So
gosh.
-25 is what it feels like out.
We were just reading that where it's why is it that it's -4 degrees, but it feels like what was it? 25?
Yeah.
So why isn't it just 25? -25.
But see, -4 degrees dash -13 degrees feels like -20. I don't know.
With the wind chill, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Cold.
It's brutal, and we have our heat turned up really high, and we're still walking around cold in here.
Yeah, it's for real, and I think it's gonna be like this for the next couple of days. So, as if you're in, well, it's actually hitting a bunch of different places, not just Illinois. Buffalo's going through it. Kansas City, Missouri just obviously went through its own cold front. So a lot of people are obviously going through this right now.
Yeah. So, I was looking at other places, and I've always felt very lucky to live in an area where we don't get a lot of those huge
natural disasters.
Natural disasters. We don't get tornadoes, but
as much,
not as much as other places. We don't get tsunamis, earthquakes, none of that stuff.
Venomous animals, anything like that.
But we do get brutal winters, and honestly, sometimes they're not that brutal. But I feel like this year. You know what? My message to winter and snow, if you're not here by Christmas, don't come at all, please. That's my message.
It was really warm on Christmas Eve.
It was. And that's the only time I ever really liked the snow is during the holidays. And after that, I'm over it. But this time it didn't get here before the holidays. It's here after. And it's just been I always forget how much I don't like it until it's here.
That's true. But there are some positives to the cold and snow days. And
there is, yeah. But we're going to go into that at the end, right?
No, I thought I was going to talk about my snow days.
Your snow days?
Yeah.
As a kid?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where I was getting
okay, that's a positive. That's true.
Yeah. So, for everyone, didn't we all used to, the one time we would all watch the news when we were younger was when it snowed and you were trying to look for your school as it was going down on the clicker. No, it's not clicker, ticker, I think it's called, where you're just looking district, whatever. You probably looked up your district to make sure you knew what it was. And then you're like, oh, there's Waukegan or whatever school you went to. But that was always something I always look forward to. We knew, my parents told me the day before, there's supposed to be a lot of snow. Your school might be getting, a snow day. So I'm like, oh, thank God. And For me, snow days, what it would end up being is obviously I would help shovel with, help my parents shovel or help my dad shovel.
This is when you were in like
Middle school, even like, early high school or whatever.
Okay.
So shovel, obviously, because there were some times back then when global warming wasn't probably, as it didn't have full effect yet, I would say. There was a lot more snow.
That's true.
Yeah, so even right now, I mean, it's cold. It snowed a
Yeah.
bit, but it didn't snow probably as much as we've seen. I would help shovel, but then I was big into the video games on snow days. Video games just hit a little bit more when it was a snow day. And I remember I had just gotten the first Call of Duty. I wasn't supposed to be playing it. And, it's technically underage, but just playing it, looking outside, seeing all the snow, it just was different. And I always loved playing video games on snow days.
That is so funny. So would you get on with your friends and it'd be like an exciting time?
You know what? I don't even, there were some, so I think later on in high school we would, but like early on, it was just me. I would just play and, it would be dark. Like I'd have all the lights off and like, man, I should be in school right now, but I'm out here playing. So it wasn't until like later on when we all got, online and stuff like that and we could play. But yeah, it was just something more memorable, I guess, when it was a snow day. You knew you were supposed to be at school, but you just got to play video games. It was great.
Yeah, no, that's true. And actually, you just like that memory, I completely forgot about that, like looking for the district to come up on the TV. And I remember my mom used to always make us breakfasts before school, so we would be eating breakfast just in case we were gonna go, but we'd be watching. We had this little tiny TV, like the old school, like big TVs in the kitchen, and just waiting. And the worst was when your district would like list schools and yours wasn't on there. Like you're still gonna have to go to school. And sometimes I would convince my mom, like, but mom, no one's gonna go, it's too cold, it's probably gonna be a movie day or whatever. And I would try to convince her to like let me stay home when it wasn't officially canceled. But yeah, you're right. I feel like it was always so exciting to get it canceled, because actually for me in elementary school, if you're watching and you knew me in elementary school, I feel like everyone knew where I lived. I think I've told you this before too, because I lived in a corner house that you can see from the school. So I feel like everyone knew where I lived, and I used to have to walk to school because obviously like it's literally right across.
Right there.
So snow days were always just very brutal. And sometimes bus drivers were nice enough to see us walking and like just drive us from where they saw us walking to where the school was. But yeah, you're right. I feel like it was always very exciting when it got canceled. I don't remember what I would do though. I think I'd probably just go back to bed.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense.
Watch TV.
Now that you brought it up, like when it wasn't canceled, I think I did enjoy. Look, I would have enjoyed it more had I had a snow day, but going to school, it was like super laid back. The teachers knew look, it's a struggle for them. They got to get to school too. They got to go shovel, and it's like, okay, the students who did make it, are you going to do a full lesson when half the kids didn't make it? So they kind of took it easy on you. So it was like okay, I got that day at least out of the week. Now I only have 4 more days of school. So actually, I'm glad you brought it up, because it was a pretty easy day.
Yeah.
Maybe like those movie days or something like that, where, obviously.
It's going to be chill.
Yeah, it's going to be chill, and there's nothing wrong with that.
People are most likely late. Everyone's walking in late.
Yeah, for sure.
What was I going to say? But yeah, so as far as like dislikes, I feel like there's so many, but you're right. I feel like at the same time, I feel bad complaining, because having like regular winters and stuff, I guess it's a sign that like, it's doing what it's supposed to be doing during this time, right?
Yeah.
But it sometimes like it hurts, guys. It hurts.
What's the number one thing you hate about like when it gets to this type of weather?
It literally hurts. That's my number one thing. Walking in the wind when it's like snowy and cold like this hurts. It literally hurts your face, hurts your hands. I always get like extremely dry like skin in the winter, so my hands like get so dry, lips just like dry. I just never feel crustier than when it's winter.
I mean, those are all valid things that, I think everyone, they feel the same way when it comes to winter. You know what? I think there are a couple things that I hate about it. Actually, this morning, when we in our apartment complex, like not all the the parking spots are completely shoveled out. And since they weren't, ice just forms over these higher mounds of snow, so getting into them is not the easiest thing. So I think just the preparation that you have to have,
oh my gosh,
you have to give yourself give your car before you can actually leave anywhere. Like I went out to start your car because it didn't, when we both have remote starters because of this weather, yours didn't start this morning, so I had to go out there and sit in your car and then use the not the windshield wiper, the
like snow
why can't I
crusher the brush and then like the little
use the snow brush and stuff. But doing that yesterday too, like it takes time. Like that snow had frozen over on top, and you gotta really work to get in there and make sure the mirrors you can see and all this crap that goes into, like, if you wanted to I wanted to get the gym at like 8:30. I was maybe leaving at that time just because like you had to do all the extra stuff to make sure your car was right.
You're right. That is actually one of like the most difficult parts. Okay, for me, especially in the winter, it's hard to get out of bed because you just feel so cozy and you're warm, and you know that like getting up and going out, like you're gonna go into like the freezing weather, right? So like I just like to stay in bed in the winter until I like have to get up, right? So it does make it hard because now you have to like get up earlier and, like you said, get the snow off, make sure your car is like good and working or whatever. And yesterday I was supposed to go to the gym like early, and I couldn't make it. I couldn't get out of my parking spot.
Yeah. Like there was no way you would have gotten out without, what we had to do yesterday. And like I used that snow brush because we don't have shovels.
Have a shovel, yeah.
Is that a mistake on us? Should we have
I feel like we should have a
shovel?
shovel.
Yeah.
The thing is they cleared the parking lot, but like that's the side of it like just gets pushed up against the cars.
Yeah.
So yeah, there was no way my
we should
car
have a
was
shovel,
out.
but we actually didn't need one all last year. Like now that I'm thinking about it, when we got our apartment, I don't think there was one time where it was like this bad where we actually needed a shovel.
Yeah, you're right. I don't remember it being this bad last year.
No. So I mean, of course we didn't have one, so I had to use that snow brush and like just chip away at the ice that kept you from leaving the parking spot, but it ended up working out. Another thing that I really hate about snow and like this kind of weather is the mess that it tracks everywhere. And like I can't wear, everyone knows I'm a shoe guy. I literally wear one pair of shoes now because there's no point.
Because of salt and stuff?
The salt, just the slushiness and everything, even my workout shoes, like those get ruined because I'm somebody that just kind of goes to the gym. I'll wear my shorts, bring a coat, but I still have my work. I'm one of those guys, but it's only to go to the gym, and those get ruined too. And I hate that. I hate that so much. Like it like condenses more than half of what I would normally wear for shoes into like 3 pairs because I just don't want to get them dirty.
If you're wearing any dark colors and you like lean against your car slightly, okay, there's like a bunch of salt on your stuff. Inside too, like walking in, like there's just salt that gets dragged everywhere. Ugh. Driving in the winter terrifies me. I don't like it. If the roads aren't that bad, fine. But there's times where you have to get somewhere, and if you don't have like a bigger truck or the traction is not that great on your car, like the sliding in the winter is terrifying.
Yeah, it's definitely not. So actually, I don't mind driving in this weather. If I need to go somewhere, I know I can do it. I don't like how much longer it's going to take for sure. But I just don't trust other people.
Yeah,
driving.
That too. That's
the thing.
probably
it's
it
like,
too.
It almost feels like every time it gets to where there's snow on the ground, where it's cold, windy, I just feel like some people just forget how to drive.
Hold on. I actually was just going to say that because everyone, like when it's raining, oh my gosh, everyone suddenly forgets how to drive. I don't believe that because I know you're a harsher critic than I am. I am going to slow down if it's raining because you can hydroplane, whatever. But people like expect you to just be driving the same sometimes. And you shouldn't be. You should be more careful.
I'm saying this that people don't know how to drive in the snow is because they're still trying to go the same exact speed they would when you can't do that. Like I'm going to slow down and stuff, but you also have to give yourself space to break.
Yeah.
Because you just don't know. Like, is there black ice there? It's like hard to tell. So that's more so what I'm saying. It's like people are driving the same way they would if there was no snow when it's not ideal conditions. So that's where people, I think, just forget how to actually properly drive in the elements. Like, if you lived here for a while, you should kind of know that by now. But I just feel like every time it happens, like, oh, what do we do? How do we do this? It's like, be more cautious, take your time, and don't be an idiot. You do those 3 things, I think it'll be fine. Especially the last part. Don't be an idiot.
Okay, so can I ask you a question?
You can.
A lot of people always say, especially in our area, like, we don't live in Chicago, but we're close to Chicago, right? We live in a suburb. But everyone always says, like, but Chicago summers make everything worth it, like going through the winter and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. Do you agree with that? Or, like, what is your take on that? Like, makes it so worth it in the summer?
Yeah, I think Chicago does have a great summer. But I don't really mind all this. Like, I know I was like, we're going to also say some of the things we do like, but I don't mind the winter. I don't mind battling elements. So, like, if it's cold or whatever, battling the elements, I don't mind that. It's all I know. So, and what do you mean? I grew up here. Like, this is fine. I went to school in Iowa. It's cold out there. Like, I don't mind having these really cold, frigid seasons. And maybe when I get older, like I know my uncles and my parents are like, oh, they kind of complain about like this, but I don't really mind it all too much. I don't mind getting bundled up, wearing hats and a big coat or whatever. Like, that doesn't bother me. And then this is gonna last until a couple of months and spring, summer, and you enjoy it while it's here. But I don't know, I'm not someone who's gonna complain. I was going to say something else. I'm going to complain all that much about, whether it's cold or not. And the next couple of days is going to be like negative, but it'll be gone. What about you? I mean, it kind of sounds like.
Yeah, I think you know where I'm going. Yeah. No, for sure it does make it worth it. Like, anything to really appreciate something, you have to like know the opposite, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So I do really appreciate and love when it's warmer seasons. Spring, I love spring. I like summer so much. I like fall too. I just don't like this because I do feel very restricted. Like, we wanted to go and explore and walk around like we normally do, and it makes it so hard. Like, it's not going to be enjoyable to go walk around when it's this cold. And even when you bundle up sometimes, like, it's just snowy out. Like, it always reminds me of that one running video that I was telling you. Like, this is great for running, low impact, and boom. Yeah. Yeah. Like, it just makes it like harder to get around and stuff. So I do feel like this is the time where I just want these months to kind of like, not that I want to wish time away. I never want to feel that way, but like, I just wish winter didn't feel as long, because to me, it always feels like summer flies by and winter just drags on forever. It's what it feels like to me.
Maybe it's also too, actually, you'd mention it, like, we're recording now during the day, and I said, oh, well, we record at night. You're right, it's not at night. There's just so little sunlight.
Yes.
And it does make the day feel like it's, later than what it actually is. No, it's 3 p.m. There's just no sun out right now.
Yeah.
That does suck. It doesn't bother me as much as I know it bothers, like, a lot of other people. Like, you'll get out of work, and you go into work, it's dark. You go to work, if you're doing like a 9 to 5 or whatever, you come out and it's also dark. Ideally, that does suck.
Yeah.
But it's another one of those negatives that you just gotta deal with as the seasons change.
I used to always say, before we knew where you were gonna like be able to cover a team full time, like, we didn't know. So for a while, it was kind of like up in the air. It could be anywhere, and we've never like really talked about that on the podcast. But I know people would tell you that it's very hard to start off in Chicago. And so you might have to like start off for your career path like somewhere else and make your way back here. And you were able to like skip that step and just start here, which is amazing. But in my head, I was like, oh, maybe we'll get to go somewhere that's like warm all the time, and that'd be great.
That would have been a cool experience for sure. But like I said, I was able to kind of skip a couple of steps, and now we're here. Still's here. in this the seasons that do change. We are going to talk about some of the things that we do enjoy about these snow days. But before we do, got to tell you about, of course, Owen. If you've watched or listened to couples coverage, you know that we're big, huge supporters of Owen, which stands for Only What You Need. If you're looking for a plant-based protein shake that's going to only have the ingredients that you need, then that's definitely going to be the option that you have to look into. And a bunch of different flavors. You can look, personally, I love the dark chocolate, and also
cookies and cream.
Cookies and cream. Sea salted caramel is also delicious. They also have some Owen protein shakes that are double shot, which will give you your protein, but also a little bit of caffeine. So you get the best of both worlds. So you can definitely look into that by going to liveowen.com. And if you use the code couples15 at checkout, you save 15% off your first order. So you stock up. You get all your Owen products. Use the couples15 code, and you're gonna be set. I'll tell you this, just from us drinking it, you don't feel bloated. You wanna drink your protein shake after your workout, or if you're just using it as a meal supplement, which they also do have. It's great knowing that you're drinking a product that one has, again, those ingredients that you only need, and then again you feel good afterwards. So don't take my word for it. You can go and check it out yourself. Again, go to liveowen.com. Use that code couples15 to save 15% off your first purchase.
Thanks, Owen. Uh-oh, what is going on?
That would be the DJ from Spotify. Maybe it's telling you to go listen to couples coverage. You know that DJ from Spotify that just kind of pops up?
No, I mean, I don't have that, but you're like, it's your AI DJ or something?
Yeah, that I must have said something. Ooh, I gotta.
He's listening. They're always listening.
They're always listening, and you guys are hopefully listening to us. Your couples coverage.
Okay, so we're gonna switch this around. We don't want to dwell on the negatives because I do think there are a lot of things that you can focus on during this time. So we've kind of been. Again, this kind of just started. I feel like we're getting snowed in here because it is freezing out, and again, like, if you don't need to be out, there's no reason to, right?
No, I don't think so.
You don't need to be. It's safer to be at home. Roads are kind of bad. So we have been coming up with some little things here and there that we've been liking to do while we're inside. We've been telling all our friends about this. So I don't know if this game just blew up, but I have been seeing it. I know it's an older game, though. It's called Undercooked.
Overcooked.
Oh, shoot.
Well, that can happen. You can undercook things, but you can go ahead and explain.
What is it called?
Overcooked.
Overcooked 2. We've been loving this game, and I am not, guys, I'm not a gamer whatsoever. I never ever play with him. You always play like Call of Duty, and it's so different from those games that you play. But it's so fun. It's so fun, and we've been like cooking every night.
So for those who have not played this game, essentially you're two cooks in a kitchen, and you're getting assigned things to create, and there are things that you have to do to, make the recipe, the end product. So let's say you have to make a piece of pizza or something, or a pizza. You need to get the dough. What do you need to do? Do you have to chop, or you just got to put in the mixer?
Have we done pizza before?
We have done pizza. So you have to put like dough in a mixer. Someone has to find cheese on like this. You're kind of like on a small map.
Yeah.
And you have to find it, go through like obstacles. Sometimes there'll be wind or there's fires randomly on the ground, and you got to figure things out, but you have to chop up the cheese. And then there's a little bar where you have to chop it up all the way. You have to pass that to your partner. The partner has to put it in the mixer. The mixer then, once it's done, you have to put it in the oven. The oven has a timer. Once the timer's done, you got to take it out of the timer and put it to serve. I'm telling you, it gets hectic, it gets crazy, but it's so much fun.
Stressed, like playing this game, I'm holding my breath, I'm eating because I stress eat, so I need a snack. This is so funny, but like it cracks me up because like in the middle of all this, you also have to like wash the dishes and stuff.
Yes.
So like you're panicking trying to get orders out, but suddenly you have to like wash the dishes because you have nothing to serve on.
And all these like the tickets for each order are coming up, and you got to be able to get them in on time or you get dinged for it. And it gets crazy. Like I'm going to be completely honest. You were getting, I thought not bossy, but you were like, we need to do this. We need to do this. I'm like, we just started this game and we're already. That's what they said too, right? On TikTok or whatever. Like you're gonna like clash at times. I'm like, it's already starting, and we barely have played the first level.
Because I need a second. Because again, I'm not a gamer, so it takes me a while to do things that to you might be easy. Throwing things your way, I couldn't figure out how to throw them your way. So
that's a skill. Yeah, it takes time.
Like, give me a second. I have to be prepared. But you have to communicate. And that's why I love it. Because you really have to talk to each other to get these orders out. And we're hyping it up here. Just please go play if you...
yeah, it's fun though. I mean, like, but the communication part is crucial. And
you have to. And I feel like whenever we've done bad... we always at the end, okay, we're not talking to each other enough. What do you got over there?
We're our own cooks. Like we're not working as an entire unit here.
Yeah.
And I think like the communication part is like, hey, I'm getting the onion. You go get the mushroom. I'm chopping it up. I'm gonna throw that into the fryer. Oh,
yes,
it's done
chef.
with the fryer. Yeah, yes, chef.
Yes,
chef. The bear. Look, it's a really fun game if you're looking for something that you can pick up quickly, but it's gonna take time to get good. Like this is something that I would recommend. Look, like you said, I play Call of Duty, like God of War, like these games that are really complex, and this is it's not complex, but it does take time. It's a lot of fun. It's even more so we can actually my friend Ben, or our friend Ben, they just downloaded the game.
Oh, they did?
I wonder if we're gonna eventually get 4-player on here to see how that would work. But 2, it keeps it really entertaining, and we've been playing this for...
Like, we look forward to playing it, but, okay, I feel like we're going too much into this. It's just we're obviously very excited because it's still very new. We've been playing it for, like, 3 nights.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, 3 days ago we got it, or 4 days ago. So at night, we always look at each other like, it's time to cook.
Time to cook, yeah. And we're like, yeah, I've been waiting. Let's get our food, get your little, snacks. What do we get? Graham crackers to stress eat, and let's go cook.
Not sponsored. That is just a fun game.
Fun game. Overcooked 2.
I love that we were so excited to talk about that.
I know.
We just went in.
You got to try it out. But that's one of the perks of staying in and just being able to...
Find new ways to have fun, literally. Yeah. Ways that, I mean, I would never, like, normally ever play PS5 or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. So, honestly, it's just fun. We also had, I think we mentioned we do date night every week. Mm-hmm. And just with it being so cold out, we decided to stay in and actually cook in real life, too. Yeah, and cook something together. We made, what are those things called?
Scallops.
Scallop pasta.
Yeah, scallop pasta, and then...
That was really good.
Brussels sprouts.
Ooh, yeah, some glazed Brussels sprouts.
With, like, maple... What did you put? Maple syrup
Yeah, maple
on
syrup, sriracha, sesame seeds. They were good, too, right?
Yeah. And you know what was really... So, again, it was our own in-home dinner date night. But you know what I really appreciated about... And that was last night that we just had this. You turned on, like, restaurant music. But it, like, kind of... Like, we had the light off, and we shared a Dr. Pepper, and then that music in the background, it kind of just, it did feel like it was, even though we were just at our apartment.
It made it more special than just regular having dinner together.
It did, and we made it. It was good.
Yeah.
And it was just us two, and, like, that little subtle, let me just put on YouTube TV restaurant music. It works. So that was also a really neat little thing that you added there.
Aw, cute. Yeah, so like little things like that where it's like something else that I want to do. We've played like YouTube videos like learning how to dance certain things, and that's something else that I see in our future because this is like a good time to practice stuff, you know, that we want to get good at by the summer.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. You got to take advantage of those things when you can. Another thing we did, 2 days ago, we were able to, instead of, I think this is a day where it really had just started snowing and like we weren't going to go drive. We both did an at-home workout. We were kind of doing our own thing, but we were in our living room. We both had like our yoga mats out. You were doing yoga. And I was kind of doing more like push-ups, sit-ups kind of thing. And you know what? Just being there, we were both kind of putting in the work and, you know, just doing that. We were both in the same setting and still trying to find ways to, again, exercise when we really couldn't go anywhere. So that was another thing that we found beneficial for being snowed in.
Yeah, exactly. Just making it work, and honestly, just making the best of the situation, which I know is always easier said than done because you're going to hear me complain a lot in the winter. I'm sorry. It just is what it is. It hurts me. But again, like I said, it's just finding those little things that you can do and making it work regardless. And I know you've also been taking this time to start your Spanish that you said you wanted to learn this year.
Yeah, so with the season, the bear season ending, I have had more time to figure out how I can now implement I'm doing at least 30 minutes of Spanish each day, kind of going through the lessons. And you got me an awesome customized planner or portfolio planner. Well, I hadn't used it. So I'm like, let me use this to take notes for my Spanish lessons that I'm taking just online. So I've been putting some time devoted each day to just take notes and learn Spanish. So again, something.
What's this?
That is una taza de café.
Yes.
Boom, on the spot. Let's freaking go.
Wait, my mom listens and she's gonna appreciate this question. You ready?
Oh boy.
¿De dónde eres?
¿Dónde eres?
¿De dónde eres?
Like, where am I?
Remember we practiced this yesterday. ¿De dónde eres?
Yeah, so would it be in Arlington Heights? No.
Yeah, so remember we were saying like I'm from Waukegan, but I live in Arlington Heights.
So it's like soy de Waukegan, pero estoy en Arlington Heights.
Yeah, good.
Let's go.
Or you can say Vivo, like I live.
Oh, Vivo. Yeah, that's right.
Vivo in Arlington Heights.
That's right.
Yeah.
So we're learning.
Good job.
That's another thing I can do when the weather's like this. More time to kind of do those things. What about you?
We also went to a bookstore yesterday, and that's something else that I feel like this is like the perfect time to read, and I do want to read more. I was on a little bit of a kick at the end of last year?
I think it was last year.
Wait, last year, like 2022?
2023.
2023, maybe in the beginning?
I think it was in the beginning of 2023.
I don't know when it was. It feels like a while ago now, but this was actually, no, I think it was like during, you know what, I can't even remember, but I know I was on a kick for a little bit reading, and something with me is that like I will start a book and then not finish it. So I was really proud of myself for like sticking with one of them and actually finishing it. And that's something that I want to keep doing this year. So we went to a bookstore and I'm excited to start reading a new book. And hopefully it's just like one of many during the winter. And of course, you know, after winter too, but this is just like a good time because we're at home a lot more.
Yeah, I also want to find a book. I'm still trying to figure out what genre or what I want, like one of those self-help books, or is that what it's, self-improvement books, or like a fiction. I don't know. Haven't quite figured that out yet, but I do also want to pick that up as well. Yeah.
And like I was saying, like making the best or the most of it. We have, you know what, like I was listening to a podcast and it was like learning how to embrace like this time. I think the podcast that I was listening to, she's from Canada and they have really like brutal winters too. So she was saying like getting excited about all the winter activities that you can do. And I kind of want to go into that a little bit because we have done skiing ice skating. And ice skating's fun, right?
Yeah,
like,
I enjoy it.
Now.
No. I used to hate it, honestly.
Wait, really?
Yeah, well, I've always get like the skates where the laces don't go all the way up, and for some reason it feels like I'm putting more pressure on my inner like toes or whatever. I don't know, it just wasn't comfortable. Yeah. But the last time we went, neither one of us fell. We stayed up.
I don't think we fell the other times either. I think you were just uncomfortable. Like your skates weren't on right.
Yeah.
But
it was better.
It was better this time.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's always so fun too.
Mm-hmm. That's a fun activity. But you did mention skiing.
I did mention skiing because when she said this, like getting excited about all the winter activities, I'm like, okay, that's the first one that comes to mind, right? Skiing and what's the other one that sledding. Oh, okay. I want to go sledding. Really bad. Is that weird that I want to go sledding?
It's not, but you always point out the smallest hills. Like, I could go sledding down. No, you cannot. That thing, like, this hill is like this big. You're going to go.
I don't want to go into like a giant hill.
Well, but that you can't go anywhere. There's no momentum being built. But yes, sledding used to be so much fun when I used to do it in high school with a bunch of like buddies, and we would get a big group and we would all have different weird sleds. Some were actually sleds, some were makeshift sleds, and we would have an awesome time. Except for the one time we decided to go down a big hill that had a bunch of trees in it. That was really stupid, but it was a lot of fun at the same time.
Dodging the trees.
Yeah, we didn't. That's why.
No. But yeah, so we did try skiing. So I think a couple of years ago, our friends invited us out skiing, and it was the first time we ever did it. And I'm glad that we did it, but it's very hard to picture myself doing it again because it was pretty scary, right?
It was, and is it a gondola? Is that what that thing is called that takes you up? Or did I just make up a word? Like
I remember we've had the same conversation on this podcast.
What is this?
Ski lift.
Is it just a ski lift?
Yeah, a ski lift.
What's a gondola?
I think they're the ones that are enclosed. Like you can take like gondola rides in like Washington, and they're like enclosed.
I looked up gondola and I accidentally typed Gonda. It's a city in India. So
Gonda.
Not Gonda. But yes, a ski lift. Even sitting on that, there's no seatbelt, right? No. It's just a bar that comes down and then you got to jump off of it, or you're just going back down. Or yeah, I don't know. I just didn't like that. And also could not get the whole skiing thing right. Like, no, and I didn't want to pick up momentum, to be completely honest. Like, oh crap, like how do you stop? Like, I just imagine this rolling over and constant rolling over and just laying down on the ice, just
The thing is, I don't know what kind of level we were at. I want to assume we were on like the bunny hills, like the little like smaller ones, right? We wouldn't, if it's our first time, I can't imagine us going on anything more than that. But it is really scary, and I think the thing that is really important is that you can't be scared, right? When you're doing something like that, like you can't have a lot of fear, otherwise you could maybe get hurt, you hesitate or whatever. And it is scary, not really for us that are not skiers, like not feeling like I have control.
Yeah.
I didn't like it. Maybe with lessons, I think I would go back.
Yeah, I think so. Just kind of having someone guide us through it. That would help. And wait, I tried a snowboard.
You did snowboarding. And I did too, but I went to skiing because I spent most of the time on the ground. So I'm like, I'm just going to go skiing.
There is a video, though, of me snowboarding.
Can we get an insert?
I think we can. And that was like a tiny hill, but don't I go down it all the way at the end, and then
you plop at the end,
down. Yeah, it's just difficult. And if you have that natural balance, or I don't even know what it is, like, again, I did not want to pick up any speed skiing, snowboarding, because I also want to know how to stop. And I felt like if that happened, I wouldn't know how to stop. And like I said, the whole tumbling, like I envisioned myself doing that.
Yeah.
But it never happened because I never really went very fast. And anytime I actually gained momentum, I fell. So yeah, it's like I said, if I had like lessons, maybe. But
yeah,
I don't know. Nick and Tiff, who invited us, appreciate it. It was our first time, both of us doing that, right?
Yeah, first time.
Give me lessons.
No. And again, I don't want to say that we didn't have fun, because when we were there, we were cracking up the whole time. Like, we found it funny. But in terms of like going as an activity, like I need to know what I'm doing. Otherwise, I'm scared. And I had bruises. I literally had bruises.
Yeah.
For days after that, because again, I just kept falling. It
was painful. Yeah. I remember. Painful. Well, it also hadn't. There was obviously snow on the ground, but it hadn't snowed
enough
that day or the day prior, something like that. And it was more so ice. So when you fell, you felt it just a little bit more because it was extra cold, extra icy.
Mm-hmm. So we'll see if we'll try that one again. I think I would want to do it again and have a more like we said, like someone teaching us and learning that stuff and feeling more comfortable. And then we'd have a better experience in terms of like not being on the ground most of the time.
Yeah, no, if there's someone like holding my hand and guiding me, do it. Guide me all the way
Also,
down these hills.
There was no railing, so I was stressed out knowing that you were snowboarding. I'm like, oh my gosh, she's up there on the hill and there's no rails on the side, and oh my gosh, like I don't want to even look.
See someone go off the cliff.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I was stressed out.
That was kind of scary too. Like I was surprised there wasn't anything, and I guess the only thing that would stop you if you did go over were a bunch of trees.
Yeah.
And that's not a great way to stop.
No,
so,
it's scary.
Yeah. Fun experience, but one that we definitely need some more guidance.
Yeah.
To do.
So we'll see. But also, guys, like the ski lift, I didn't know it would be as scary as it was. I keep saying like I sound like I'm always like a scared person, but I feel like in that case, you're high up. I'm stressed out because I don't know. Like I know I'm gonna be able to get off, but I know I'm probably gonna fall getting off. And then you're up there, no seatbelt, no like rail, which I was really surprised about. And then it's kind of like a little bit, it's shaky and
it's like,
ooh, it was a stressful experience. Even again, just watching you up there when I was like, I'm not doing that again. One and done for me. And then watching you up there, I was like, oh my gosh, I just don't even want to look.
I mean, I honestly didn't want to go back up there, but it's kind of like, oh, I got to go back up there because my friend Nick's going back up there or whoever. It's like, all right, let's do this. I want to do this. I don't want to do this, but I did it anyway. So yeah, it's again, fun experience, but
we're making it sound like we didn't have fun.
No, we didn't.
No,
it was a fun time.
Honestly, I feel like that's you know what, I will take like I want to know like what are people excited about for this time, and what's something that you guys do during this time that makes it, you know, more enjoyable, or something that you look forward to during this season, because we'll take any recommendations. And obviously we've been living here our whole lives, but it almost feels like you have to like relearn how to deal with all of this every year.
It's true. Yeah, actually, what do you do now that Christmas is done with, New Year's is done with, but it's still cold, there's still going to be snow for the rest of these next couple months? Curious to see what everyone kind of does while the big holidays are kind of behind us, and now we're kind of looking forward to the seasons changing. But yeah, just drop in the comments what you guys do. Yes.
Yeah. Oh no!
I had like a
light bulb. I did, because I feel like the past couple of years we've always had a trip planned in February, and so it's like something to look forward to, and we get to go somewhere warm for a little bit. And this year we don't have anything planned for any time like soon, so maybe that's why. Also, I'm like, dang, what are we?
Did we? I mean, when we went to Hawaii last year, that was in June. Did we go anywhere before that?
I feel like in March, didn't we go to DR? What was that? No, I know we've gone to Mexico in February before. I don't know. I feel like we've always had like something planned in February, because that's when you're done and we want to like go somewhere. But anyways, okay, that's besides the point. But again, let us know.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, let us know.
Also, as we kind of close out the show here, please again subscribe. YouTube, find Couples Coverage. Click that little bell notification. You'll get notified anytime episode drops. Subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to your podcasts. That'll also help us out here to, just get more people listening or watching the show. Instagram, you can also look up Couples Coverage. TikTok, you can look up Couples Coverage. We appreciate everyone who's listened, watched, and enjoyed these shows. We're going to continue making them, as we always have fun doing so, and the seasons will also be changing as we continue going with Couples Coverage. More to talk about, but again, appreciate everyone. That's going to wrap it up for episode 21. Until next time, adios.
Bye.